The stock market just made a brand new all-time high, adding $6 trillion in market cap over the past 12 trading days. Meanwhile, Bitcoin got rejected at the top of its range. What on earth is going on? In today's video, we'll be talking about this, going over the most recent price action, and also discussing my most recent altcoin short. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. And there we have it, a solid all-time high for stocks. You can see that we're now currently above 7,000. Now, this is a pretty significant move for the stock market from the low to where we are as I'm recording this video, an 11% move. Normally, if this is to happen in the stock market, you would expect risk assets like crypto to be absolutely soaring, but the reality couldn't be further from the truth. From the low for Bitcoin, you can see that we basically only moved from here to here 17%. That's pretty pathetic because crypto should be getting that upside volatility as well, right? Well, no. Crypto is the riskiest of assets. And as I've been talking about time and time again, I firmly believe that Bitcoin will be going below $60,000 this year. I know it might be hard for you to believe, but traditionally in these bear markets, Bitcoin drops a lot more than we've seen, which is currently just over 50%. So while we did have a decent move to the upside, this was actually a pretty good SFP short entry. If you're in my community already, you know what I'm about to say. Bitcoin basically just swept that previous high that was set on March 17th, almost by just like $1. Take a look at this. If I really zoom in, that was the high swept. A beautiful SFP entry, which unfortunately I did not manage to execute on simply because I was doing something else, focusing on other crypto assets. And what are those assets, you might ask? Well, I talked about it in my previous video. I came out and said I'm going to short the crap out of Rave. This is a new token that launched that hit over a $5 billion market cap in the crypto industry. I try to trade mostly where I have an edge, and that is in crypto, in particular, shorting shitcoins. And this is one of them. You can see here that I'm currently up around $65,000 on this short trade, and I managed to realize just over $30,000. Now, yesterday, I also entered an initial trade on Rave, ended up making 15K, and then got stopped out at break even. That's how you want to trade this token. Let me just talk about it quickly. So if I click on the Rave chart, you'll notice that we had a pretty solid entry here. And this is what I discussed in my previous live stream, a bit of educational resources here. Look, when you create a nice move to the upside like this, but you have a wick, you want to pay attention on whether or not we get acceptance above that wick. And the thing is, we didn't. So we had this wick to the upside, then the next 4-hour candle had a move to the upside, we wicked above, but the body of the candle was still within that previous wick. And on the next move up, which was a pretty aggressive move all the way up to around 18.5, the candle body closed back within this wick, meaning we couldn't get acceptance above the level, and therefore it makes for a great shorting opportunity. That on top of the fact that the funding rate when I was covering this on the channel and within my community yesterday was -2%, a whole -2%, which is absolutely absurd. What this means is there was tons of people looking to short this token, and they were paying a premium to do so. So usually what happens is they pump the token up, liquidating the shorts, and then we end up reversing to the downside. So my base case for this token, if it wasn't already clear, is that it's going to absolutely puke. The question is, when? When is this token going to drop, say, 80%, like we've seen tons of other crypto tokens? Honestly, I can't tell you because these things take time to play out. Can we just immediately dump from here? Yeah, it's possible. But the way that I trade these tokens is once I get favorable price action, I simply move my stop loss to break even. That's exactly what I did on this trade. So while I am sitting with some decent realized profits, if this token just starts to pump, I get stopped out at break even. I don't care. I will simply look for a new entry because I think that the end is inevitable, and that is a massive crash for this token. talked about it in yesterday's video. I also talked about it at length in my community. This is actually where I shared my short entry. By the way, if you want to see how I'm trading the market every single day before I come on the YouTube channel, you do have the first link in my description down below. This group is free. You have to DM me the keywords CBM on Telegram after clicking this link to be able to join. It's where I share all of my own personal trades. What am I doing with my own money in this market? The only requirement is that you've signed up with one of the affiliate exchange links down below, and you have tons of options here. You're trading with your own capital. Remember that. And I'm just sharing my own personal trades. Speaking of which, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I discuss on the channel or within my community should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. So, what is next? Because you can see that we're trying to hold on here. Again, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out at break even. I don't care. I've already secured some profits and I will look to re-enter. I also discussed in my previous video how I was shorting the crap out of Tau, and we're currently up around $200,000 on this trade after securing around 100K in realized profits. I still think that the probabilities favor a move lower, although I would not enter an aggressive short here on Tau. It simply doesn't make sense, even if we can head lower, because we've already had a significant move to the downside by over 25%. Bitcoin. So you'll notice I'm still in my Bitcoin short. Now, my average entry on this trade, if you've been tuning into the channel, is currently sitting at around $80,000 after I added to my existing position. I've been taking profits on the way down, as you can see here. My stop loss is also at break even. So all of the trades that you're seeing here, if price for whatever reason just starts pumping, I get stopped out at break even. It's no big deal. That's how I trade this market. Right now, you can see that we're getting a decent move to the upside as I am recording this video. Will Bitcoin just explode to the upside? I don't necessarily think so. And actually, if we get a move right around here at the bull market support band, this is a very, very interesting level for me to consider entering a brand new Bitcoin short, because my base case is still exactly the same. I think that whatever this rally leads to will end up being another lower high before we move lower for Bitcoin. And right now, obviously, if stocks continue to soar, it can give Bitcoin a little bit of steam, but the only real buyer of Bitcoin at this point in time, funny enough, is Michael Saylor. Now, we talked about this in my previous videos as well, but whenever this product is trading at a premium, he has excess liquidity to be able to essentially buy more Bitcoin. However, you'll notice that today, we are no longer trading at a premium, and therefore, zero Bitcoin has been bought. So, the way that this works, which I explained in my community, is this. Yesterday marked the qualifying deadline for the Stretch dividend. If you didn't know, Stretch is a preferred stock issued by MicroStrategy, Saylor's company, that we discussed in my latest videos. Investors have been buying it specifically to collect the dividend before this cutoff. Now, there's a pattern that you need to be aware of. The last 3 times that this deadline passed, Bitcoin effectively dumped. It's not perfect because on some of the instances, the pump continued slightly before reversing, but the point is there is usually some sort of retracement. So if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, every single time that we hit this level, we ended up getting that rejection shortly after. Now, to continue here, why does a stock deadline affect Bitcoin? Because MicroStrategy holds one of the largest Bitcoin reserves in the world. Here's what makes it even more interesting. The whole reason why this product exists is to raise capital that Saylor can then use to buy more Bitcoin. He has been doing this aggressively, using the proceeds from the Stretch share sales to accumulate Bitcoin at a massive scale. So when the deadline passes, the buying pressure tends to drop and the ripple effect hits Bitcoin directly if, of course, no one steps in to buy Bitcoin. This is not financial advice, and of course, history does not guarantee what happens next, but the pattern has played out consistently enough for me to outline this in my community. And funny enough, Bitcoin hit $76,000 and then we dropped shortly after. The way you want to enter these SFP trades, as I've talked about time and time again, is like I discussed with Rave. You enter the trade, you shave some profits on the way down to cover your fees, and then you move your stop loss to break even so you can effectively lose no money. Now, you could treat this as a scalp, because Bitcoin is showing signs of corrective structure, not an impulsive move to the downside. Right now, I would say the probabilities favor for us to come back up already. Either way, I will continue to trade the market that's right in front of me. On the higher time frames, nothing has changed from my perspective. I will keep on updating you guys in my community and on the YouTube channel as it pertains to my trades, but overall, I still firmly believe that we will be seeing a sub $60,000 Bitcoin this year. I know that might be very difficult for you to hear. I've been getting a lot of flack for it, especially when Bitcoin pumps, because when Bitcoin dumps, everyone's like, oh man, you're a genius. But then when Bitcoin pumps, it's like, you're a fool. Bitcoin is going to make a brand new all-time high. Guys, zoom out. If we go on the monthly time frame, if we go on the weekly time frame, you'll notice that this could simply form another lower high. So from a spot portfolio perspective, as I've said time and time again, I am simply not buying Bitcoin at these levels, nor did I buy at $65,000 because I do think we will be headed lower. And to give you a quick update on my long-term Bitcoin strategy, if I can find the correct chart here, my solid long-term accumulation zone for Bitcoin starts below $60,000. Then I will add more to my existing position once we drop to potentially below $50,000. This is how I'm going to play it. You can take this information and do whatever you want with it. Maybe you think I'm a fool for suggesting that Bitcoin could head lower, but ultimately I have lived through the cycles. I've been there, I've done that. I've gotten excited on relief rallies before, but I'm telling you, please be careful if you assume that Bitcoin is just going to skyrocket from here. We are in very dangerous waters. And that sums up today's quick video. Nothing has changed from a higher time frame perspective. Stocks just made a brand new all-time high, but if Michael Saylor's buying pressure isn't there, tell me, who is buying Bitcoin? Either way, I will continue to trade the market that's right in front of me. I will short shit coins, make money on the way down. I will also short other crypto assets as we tend to move to the upside, because the higher we go, the better opportunity for a great short entry. At least that's how I currently view the market. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. As always, I have my bluffin' leverage trading tutorial right here, and I'll see you in the next video.